I found my husband's secret journal where he's been rating our intimacy for years. Last night's entry changed everything. When David left for his business trip yesterday morning, I decided to finally tackle the cluttered home office we'd been meaning to organize for months. As I sorted through stacks of papers and old magazines, I found a leather-bound journal tucked behind a row of finance books, on the highest shelf partain somewhere I'd never look without a stepladder. My first thought was that I discovered an old diary from his college years. David and I have been married for 7 years, together for 10, and I thought I knew everything about him. We'd always prided ourselves on our communication and honesty. The journal was unlocked, and when I opened it I realized it was current parent. The first entry dated back 3 years. My eyes caught my name immediately, followed by a number 7/5. My stomach dropped as I realized what I was looking at. David had been rating our intimate moments on a scale of 1 to 10 with detailed notes about what he enjoyed and what he wished would improve. Each entry included the date, a numerical rating, and sometimes paragraphs of commentary. The 15th of April, part 6/10. Emily seemed distracted again, tried the thing she usually likes but got minimal response. Vishka quickly. Need to find better timing them right after her work presentations. The 3rd of June, parent 8/5. A glitchy night. The weekend away without phones made all the difference. I felt sick, violated, and utterly confused. This was the man who told me he loved our connection, who had always insisted our relationship was about more than physical intimacy. Yet here he was, reducing our most vulnerable moments to performance reviews like I was an employee being evaluated. Some entries were particularly painful to read. The 28th of November, parn 4/10. Thanksgiving at her parents' always puts her in a bad mood. Should have waited until we got home, felt mechanical and obligatory. I sat on the office floor for hours reading every entry, watching our marriage through his eyes, introduced to numbers and clinical observations. There were patterns I'd never noticed. Apparently I was more enthusiastic during certain times of the month, more creative when we'd been apart for a few days, more present when I wasn't facing work deadlines. The most recent entry was from the night before he left, and it stopped me cold. May 10, parn 0/10. Instead, go through with it. Emily deserves better than this facade. Need to tell her everything when I return. Can't keep living this lie. My mind raced with terrible possibilities. Was he having an affair? Was he planning to leave me? What lie had we been living? I called his hotel room that night, but there was no answer. I texted, "Bound you journal, we need to talk, please call me." 20 minutes later my phone rang. David's voice sounded hollow, defeated. "I am coming home," he said. "I'll be there in 3 hours." I can explain. Those 3 hours were the longest of my life. I packed a bag, not sure if I'd be the one leaving. I called my sister to warn her I might need a place to stay. I poured a glass of wine, then poured it down the sink, needing clarity for whatever was coming. When David walked through the door, he looked terrible, perte, like he hadn't slept in days. The journal sat on the coffee table between us. "I never meant for you to find that," he began clearly. I replied, "What's the lie, David? Are you cheating? Do you want a divorce?" He looked genuinely shocked. "God, no, nothing like that." Then he told me everything. 3 years ago, he'd started experiencing issues with intimacy, parting not physically, but emotionally. He'd begun feeling disconnected during our most intimate moments, like he was observing rather than participating. Terrified of what it meant, he'd started the journal at his therapist's suggestion. "The ratings were never about your performance," he explained, his voice breaking. "They were rating my ability to stay present, to feel connected to you. The higher the number, the more I felt like myself, like I was actually there with you. The lie wasn't about infidelity or wanting to leave. It was that he'd been struggling with depression and depersonalization for years without telling me, afraid I'd see him differently. The night before his trip, he'd planned to be intimate but found himself so emotionally detached that he couldn't go through with it. Hence the 0 rating. I've been seeing a psychiatrist for 2 months," he continued. "I was diagnosed with depression and started medication. That's why I've been having those stomach issues and sleep changes. I was going to tell you everything when I got back from this trip. I just wanted to understand what was happening to me first." I felt a complex wave of emotion